Hi there, Karen Flaherty here from Living by Human Design. Hope you're doing well today. Today's Human Design Weather discusses the Gate 62, which is all about details. So with the sun in the Gate 62, we've got details and the energy of details. And the 62 comes right off the top of the throat center here and connects to the 17 because the 17 is down here in Jupiter for the duration for a while. And so all this week, we're going to have the 62 connected to the 17, which will create a separate channel that's right next to the 4323. So this is the channel of acceptance, it's called. And the 2343, as you probably know by now, is the channel of structuring. So we'll have both those channels defined, and so also the ajna and the throat defined. The Earth is in the Gate 61, which is the thinker, comes up here off the bottom of the head center. And so the ajna and the throat are going to be defined again all week, and that's it. So you might have some other matchups with some of the gates that are down here, but otherwise, most of us will just be feeling the ajna and the throat defined. And the timing of this is that it started on July 13th in the morning, and it'll go until July 19th, just after midnight. So we've got the Sun in Gate 62 details, also called modesty or extremes in the original I Ching, again, related to the details. It's the quality of behavior which expresses the proper balance between extremes. And so you can imagine that this is the way they're talking about details because, just for example, you could have somebody looking at the sky, and so somebody thinks it's more pink tonight than usual. The sky is showing more pink, and another one thinks it's showing more purple. Well, the details are that both are correct and both are showing up, and so it's somewhere in between. It's a combination of the pink and the purple, right? So anything like that can be seen as extremes, and then when you get to the details, it's really quite specific and quite detailed, and it really just gets to the actual facts of the case as opposed to conjecture, right? People can come up with all kinds of ideas for why they think something is the way it is, but once you get to the details, it's kind of hard to argue. So it's that kind of energy. So with the Earth in the Gate 61, we call this the thinker. This comes off the head center, the middle of the head center. It's a holistic thinking. So in the I Ching, it's called the inner truth or mystery. And this is the awareness of universal underlying principles. So again, holistic thinking from a really broad perspective, but always asking the question, why? Why? This is the child who will ask you all the time what's going on and why. And they'll continue to ask all their lives. And the gene key psychosis is the shadow, inspiration is the gift, and sanctity is the CD. So in the gene key 62, we've got the shadow as intellect, the gift is precision, and the CD is impeccability, all having to do with details, right? So you can be, have an intellect or mind that deals with details. You can kind of move toward precision. And then with the CD, it's impeccability, where you really don't get much wrong and you are very careful with your details. In Richard Rudd's graphic here, he says there's a deeper beauty to our wounding because it's part of our authenticity. And this has to do with the impeccability of our word, the impeccability of the details that we put out to people, and really healing from the wounds that we've had so that we can be, so that the words that are coming out are impeccable and they're really authentic. He also says that intelligence is of the heart, whereas intellect is of the mind, right? That pretty much makes sense. And also precision is inspirational and original, and such inspiration does not depend on your vocabulary. So it really doesn't have to do with what you say so much as how you say it and the inspiration that you're bringing to it. Those numbers don't have to be so boring. They can really be pretty interesting. I've worked in a number of different fields with a lot of different numbers, and you can tell quite a story from the numbers if you've really got the heart to do it. So with the Sun and Gate 62, we've got a number of personalities, including Richard Branson, who we'll talk about in a minute, Forrest Whitaker, Ariana Huffington, Linda Ronstadt, Priyanka Chopra, number of people. And so today we're going to talk in more detail about Sir Richard Branson, who was born on July 18th in 1950. So he's turning 72 this year. He was born in Blackheath, England. He's a generator with a 5-1 profile, and he's a left angle cross of obscuration, which really has to do with obscuring details. You know, it's about details, but it's obscuring them to a certain extent, or making them very clear, having a lot of clarity behind them, but in a way bedazzling people with the facts and figures that you have, and then coming up to a real breakthrough in the end with the facts and figures. He's known as a businessman. He's great creator of the Virgin Group, which includes Virgin Records, which was his original company, then Virgin Airlines, Virgin Galactic, and there's also Virgin Rail, which I didn't know about. And he's also considered an author, as he's written quite a few books. So he is a generator, and this just goes to prove, boys and girls, that ladies and gentlemen, everybody can be wealthy when they find the thing that really turns them on. And just for example, Bill Gates is a generator. Steve Jobs was a generator. Oprah Winfrey is a generator. Richard Branson is a generator. And he's been quite successful at it. He's not quite as wealthy as some of the others, but he's doing okay. He's also considered to be very adventurous and a great philanthropist, and really has helped quite a few different causes over the years, and actually seen as somebody who can be turned to for help. So in his chart, he's got this. In the incarnation cross, the 62 for details, the 61 for the thinker, the 3, which is a little trouble at the beginning, which played out in some of his different ventures, and 50 is all about values and valuing or holding up the values of the community, basically. And just for example, he was knighted as someone who was all about entrepreneurship in England. And, if you think about it, he's done retail with the records, he's done air travel, he's done space travel, and he's done rail travel. So a lot of them had to do with transportation, but the retail side of it was where he started with Virgin Records, and that was very successful. So he has this 1762 defined, which is the channel of acceptance. It's interesting, Steve Jobs had that one also. So it's a combination of details and opinions about the details, right? Which leads to the acceptance. He does have that channel of the alpha, which is the 31-7. For generators who have a defined throat and the channel of the alpha, it is quite a nice combination, because he's got the gate of influence. So he might have to wait for people to speak to him, but when he does speak, he's quite influential. And he's got that 7, which is that small d democratic leadership. He can, lead anything. He does have a number of the love gates. He's got the love of spirit, he's got the love of the flesh, and he's got the love of humanity. So that explains a lot when it comes to the philanthropy. He also has the 2 in his chart, which is all about allocation of resources. He's good with the money. The 12 is about, which probably explains some of the writing, is that he's very cautious about his reputation, which he has been. I don't really know of any scandals that Richard Branson's been involved in. He's married, still married, I'm pretty sure, with 3 children, and no scandals as far as I know. 48 is all about the gate of depth. And the 57 is about intuition. There's that 50 about values. 18 is all about correction, right? So he wants to correct and edit and improve things, which he's done for both air and space travel. And even the way he did Virgin Records was first in the retail shops, then it became the mega shops, and then it became an online service. There's the 3 coming off the sacral. We've also got the channel 59.6, which is all about mating. And again, interesting because Steve Jobs had this one too. So it's kind of a similar chart. And now that I think about it, they were probably born right around the same time. 59 is the gate of sexuality and intimacy, and the 6 is all about the warrior, taking care of the children, and the country. Basically, it's all about patriotism and being a warrior, and put them together, and it's the channel of creativity. So it makes him, between this, where he's got all the details and can have an opinion about it, the leadership in here, the 31.7, and then the 59.6, which is creativity and mating, and it's creating children, but also creating other things. And for him, it's businesses. And then he's got the 55, which is all about spiritual abundance. Kind of knowing, first figuring out your own abundance and how to create abundance in a way that helps everyone and helps you, but then doing it for others as well. So, and that's the way I explain that. That's like friends and family and health and wealth and food and wine and all the good stuff in life, and even air supply and water and our sunlight. A lot of things are free when it comes to spiritual abundance. So he is a 5-1 in his profile, the 5 being a projection field, but heretic. Basically, he's got something different to say, and he has succeeded in saying it for most of his life. And he's got the 1, which is the investigator. He's always investigating new things and trying out new things, and put them together. It does have people sometimes project upon him what they're thinking about him, but he's able to weather those storms, I'm sure. And they can say very nice things about him sometimes, and then other times not. So, but I think for the most part, he's fairly well regarded. And July 18th, happy birthday, Sir Richard. And I hope that you will have a week that's maybe full of details. Maybe you'll notice that people are much more enamored with details this week for some reason, and you'll know why. It's because the energy is that of details, and perhaps that will help us get to some conclusions with some of the things that are up in the air right now. So hope you have a great week and are enjoying your summer and taking some time to relax and recuperate and regenerate, and taking some time with family and friends perhaps, and or an adventure somewhere. So have a great week, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.